Hi there, and welcome to Apple World. So right when we figured Drake could never get himself stirred up in any more shows, he just got into it with Rick Ross after Rick unfollowed him on Instagram and united with Kendrick to affront him. Drake chose to applaud back in the most chaotic manner conceivable by getting with Rick's ex, Cristina Mackey, as though that wasn't terrible enough. Drake is likewise purportedly anticipating connecting up with RX's ex Tia Cleof. What's significantly more insane about this is that Tia uncovered Rick in the relatively recent past of garbage-talking Drake to her each and every night back when they were still attached. Tia spilled all of Rick's tea and uncovered him for being a secret critic for nearly 10 years. Obviously, Rick isn't anticipating allowing this to go unaddressed either, on the grounds that he just went off on Drake and made it clear to him that he isn't the one to be played with now. This fight could appear new to many individuals. Yet, in the event that you've been staying aware of Drake and Rick for some time, it isn't whenever they first come for one another. They really began fighting back in 2015 when Drake and Resigned Factory were in an exceptionally warmed wrap hamburger at the time. Rick felt like he needed to pick a side since he has a more grounded connection transport with Compliant, so he chose to toss a few shots at Drake, unwarranted in his tune variety. Cash, in which he rapped variety. Cash got your B out on a world visit. My little homeboy made 1,000 on his young lady visit. We one after the other, and down to whack a man unborn. Miami men got him changing all the firearm regulations. So run for us, get a few shooters, and they ding. 2, I got more cash than that. Path that you're endorsed to. Drake applauded back at Rick a couple of months after that, on his tune Weston Street Streams, on which he rapped, definitely, I brought your better half out too. St. Martin, she disregarded. I sent her back where everything began, that they rushed to disregard their Lone Ranger loft pass on it to folks like you. To show them light in the haziness, they proceeded to toss a couple more shots at one another after this. Yet, in September of 2016, there were a few bits of hearsay that both of them had gotten together in private to crush the hamburger. This was uncovered by rapper Nori, who said, I heard Drake and Ross met in Prime, 1-12, to crush the hamburger between Tame Pull. Ant and Drake tuning in, assuming that talk is right. That is what we want to happen. Docile plant. Drake Ross F meet. This was likewise later affirmed by Rick himself the next year, when he said that he and Drake really crushed their meat. Because of a confidential discussion set up by Jay Sovereign, they proceeded to deliver their 2 consecutive joint efforts in 2019, Cash in the Grave, and Gold Roses Starting There. On it truly appeared as though everything was cool among them, and that they were present. By back to being companions, and having shared regard for one another. That was until a couple of days prior, when Rick Ross chose to be frivolous again by unfollowing Drake on IG, on the side of Kendrick Lamar dissing Drake. So as the vast majority of you all definitely realize, Kendrick sent the web into a free-for-all a couple of days prior, when he included on Future Tune like that and dissed the life out of Drake. He said he wasn't keen on truly being placed in a similar sentence as Drake and J. Keol, and that individuals need to quit calling them the Large Three, since he is greater than both of them, consolidated. He rapped F Sneak Deason, first individual shooter. I want to believe that they accompanied 3 switches. Mother F, the huge 3-man is simply enormous, for reasons unknown. Rick embedded himself in this and unfollowed Drake. This was truly irregular on the grounds that, as I said before, they appear to have crushed their hamburger, so individuals were confounded concerning where this unexpected hostility from Rick was coming from. Drake really wound up answering Kendrick's diss during his exhibition, and he had a great deal to say. Is the same way I believe you should leave here feeling this evening about your, 'cause you realize how I'm feeling, I got my head as high as possible. My back straight, I'm 10 goes down in Florida. Or elsewhere, I go and I realize that, regardless of what it's this world, that consistently, my life, and that is the ticket I believe you should leave here this evening. Yet you all definitely know how Drake is. He is the lord of triviality. And he didn't neglect to provide Rick with a sample of it. He flew out Rick's new ex, Cristina Mackey, on an all-costs-paid excursion to his show, and even gave her a unique celebrity region to sit in for the show. Cristina even posted an exceptional greeting letter that she got from Drake. This was really unimportant on Drake's side, in light of the fact that Cristina and Rick, as of late, had an extremely chaotic public separation. So this was an immense affront for Rick, who answered by likewise posting a video of him flowing out of Kendrick's section. This was an undeniable dire Drake, and it was unmistakable that he needed to irritate Drake. When we assumed we were wrapping up this entire mess-up, Rick's fiancée Tia Colomere continued live and uncovered Rick for rubbish talking to her when they were still attached. Evidently, Rick has forever been envious of Drake, even after they crushed their meat. However, he was simply staying quiet about it, so individuals don't clock his tea and understand he's Sally, while your driver stands in your mother's house that you experienced childhood in and moving notes. And I heard it's a try-house. They say Ross is a tycoon kid. He knows he overrepresents all that you all better quit accepting that accomplish for the ground and Drake. I believe you should call me since I have something to tell you. By and by, he discusses your family, and he also discusses Dr. Drake, a young lady who got a child from a Russian lady who very closely resembled Drake, a wonderful young man of the same age. One of those young ladies got them 3 kids from a child. They were the very AG, which is why she is concealing in the house occasionally, because she realizes he got a child. That child would Ross let you know about the Drake business, supposedly because he talked with me each and every time during that time when he needed sandwiches. Furthermore, awaken his work design off this disclosure from level truly placed everything into viewpoint, since when you consider it, Rick really has no good excuse to hamburger with. Drake has done nothing to him except for he persistently attempts to disparage him and single out him for not a great explanation. By any means, certain individuals even said Drake ought to have welcomed Tia over on his visit, and on second thought of Cristina, in light of the fact that that would have hit Rick harder. Kid, it's each of the Rex. As expected, individuals had their own considerations about this, like this individual who said Rick Ross most certainly used to be one of those counterfeit companions that turned on you when every other person growing up got out. Whatever the hell did Drake do to these folks? It began to seem as though Kendrick was paid by them to diss Drake. However, presently, I need to understand your viewpoints. What is your take on Drake welcoming Cristina to his show, and do you think Rick is truly desirous of Drake? Tell me about your contemplations. Subscribe Apple World for more videos.